welcome everybody that's joining. We're just getting started with our third quarter release review webinar. Thank you for joining us. This is the first time that we've done it quite this way in terms of we've got our team leads with us, and if I'd like to introduce you to them first of all. For those who don't know, I'm Logan Harris. I'm the CEO and founder for Spotter Global, and we do perimeter security for both ground, in the air, and over water, and wide area perimeter surveillance, based a lot in compact radar, but also other technology. And with this, we've got a lot of new software releases coming up. So first of all, I'd like you to introduce you to Adam. Adam, could you just say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name's Adam Mowery. I'm the software lead for the radar, basically for our legacy system and for our new Gen 2 CH3D radar. I'm excited for the CH3D to come out. So,
all right, thanks, Adam. Aaron.
Hi, Aaron Shumway. I'm team lead on NEO. Been at Spotter for over a decade now, I think. So
more than a decade, definitely. I think it's like 13 years on or off, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then Miki.
Hi everyone, my name is Miki Jauhiainen. I'm the team lead for the IMC team, and I have not been here for a decade, only a few years.
Yeah, I've known Miki for a long time, so we'll count that for something. So let me first of all, for those who are a little bit maybe not so much familiar with Spotter and what we do, I'm going to give you first of all kind of a system-wide view of what we do, because Spotter, its mission is to prevent harm, and so when we look at what we do, it's about trying to solve the problem, the security problem, to protect property and also the lives of the people that we're protecting. So to do that, we have this what we call our technology stack, that starts with our sensors. Now we have, we originally started out with a single radar system back in 2009, as we were providing situational awareness for special forces in these village stability operations in Iraq and Afghanistan, where they needed something small, lightweight, really small, lightweight. For those who can see, these are one of the C40 radar systems that can track a person out to 600 meters with a 90-degree field of view, but very small, lightweight, easy to put in a backpack. So that's where we started out with radars, but now we've also incorporated a new technology called Remote Drone ID. It's a radio passive sensor that picks up the broadcast signal from the drones and gives you their location, the pilot's location, and the serial number. So that's also new. We released that last year, and then all that data, all that sensor data, feeds into what we call a command and control software, the C2 as short, which we have branded or called it NetworkedIO. And NetworkedIO brings all that data together, cues camera on target, also uses the camera as a sensor for classification as we automatically cue. And we'll show some of that here today. Aaron will, since Aaron's the NetworkedIO team lead. And then so that's at the site level. So NetworkedIO is at the site collecting, all the sensor data and doing things with it at the site level. Then when you have many sites, and we have enterprise customers, electrical utilities that have many sites, like 100 sites, hundreds of radars, even 500-600 radars or different sensors. And then how do you manage that? That goes up to the integrated management center. And Miki will be showing us some of that. So without any further ado, we'll go into Spotter. Adam, you want to take over?
Yeah, sure. I guess first I'll just talk about kind of briefly about our 6.3 release, which is for our legacy system. There's not a lot of front end changes to it. We've added like a new field, the true RCS, which you'll see on the tracker page. But for the most part, a 6.3 is just sort of fine tuning our algorithms on the back end to improve tracking. There was also some tickets done to improve our like interference filtering. So you'll see an improvement on that on 6.3. And then
So
that's kind of it.
Adam, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
When it comes to improving the range performance, what can people kind of expect to see?
I think the biggest thing is, since we implemented, it's kind of physics-based tracking. It's sort of, we refined our algorithms to be sort of like take into account real world sort of like frequencies and, you know, stuff coming back from the sensor. So I think overall that it's basically the range is probably a little bit better improved, but I think the tracking, just sort of consistently maintaining a track, should be improved greatly on the 6.3 release.
Yeah, and what I've seen in particular is that the accuracy of the track has improved. Not just the range. The range is improving, you know, maybe 5-10%. Like
yeah, 5-10% most. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm seeing is that in some of our previous versions, there was more jitter on the angle, so you'd see it go back and forth a little bit more. Now that's been greatly smoothed out, and I think we can show some of that when we do. Maybe we can have some tracks. I'll look around and see if there's something happening live in one of our sites while you go on to the other one. But that people look at it and say, well, okay, why does that accuracy matter? It helps because when you're getting the camera on target, the more accurate your position is, the better you are keeping the camera on target. And so it's nice to see that.
Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and show kind of our Gen 2 system, what the UI looks like, and just kind of talk about, because we're the upcoming like 1.0 release of our CH3D radar. So I'm just going to kind of show what that looks like. Hold on just a sec. Okay, so this is, can everybody see that? Let's see if
it's up.
Okay. Yeah, this is our Gen 2 radar system. This is running on like an emulator system right now that I've got locally. I'll just kind of go through just some generic stuff if anybody hasn't seen it. So this is sort of our main tracker page, and you've got modifiable ranges that you can set, and you can kind of configure. Let me go to the. You're going to change different labels and stuff on here. I'm going to put it into a replay mode. Let's see, I'll just pick one.
For those of you who are not familiar with the replay mode, it's we capture the raw radar data and store it as a file so that we can replay it. So it's like the actual target is moving. So this is like real data just being reprocessed, so we can do things like testing and modifications and training type of thing. So this is coming from a real target, and you can interact it just like if it was live.
Right. Thanks. And I also was going to say, if anybody has any questions, feel free to chime in. But yeah, so this is just sort of a drone coming at us, attacking kind of from the air, and we got a replay of that. And so we're just sort of replaying it over and over again, and we can kind of modify our algorithms and sort of.
Yeah. So is there one that has like a bunch of noise tracks? Like that's from a stationary, where you might be overlooking a busy road or anything like that. You got any replays?
Let me see what I've got. I think most of these are fairly. A lot of these are just sort of drone tracking. Is there one?
Well, what about that noise file one? Let's use that one.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't looked at this.
You don't know what the noise file is?
No, I think this is just one where I recorded noise just to see.
Oh, okay, just random background noise. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's just pick another one that has a target, and we'll show how we can, filter out things.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the new features in the CHD 3.0 our 1.0 release that's coming up. That's the ability to, when you go into kind of more, busy environments, and I'm talking about, kind of an urban or suburban where you got a busy road. You might have, trees, and maybe you got a lot of birds that are flying around, is the ability to automatically create what we call these exclusion filter zones, or blobs. We call them blobs because they kind of, I'll show you why. So anyway, let's go over to filters.
Yep.
And we've got what we call SNR filter zones that'll help do this in the past with our legacy radar systems, our Gen 1, but you had to do it manually. So you had to be able to put this in either through NEO or for the radar, and so it was a manual process. So now we've automated that. Go ahead, click on Start Recording.
Sure. Okay.
So what this does is that it's the system is now learning what the background noise. It's picking up these tracks. It's measuring, how bright they are, where they're going, what their speed is, and then as it learns over time, go ahead and push stop.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, so it looked at what was going on, and it says, okay, I can see that this is, the background, motion of the scene. And then instead of having to create these SNR filter zones, it went and did it itself. Now I can see that I'm still getting a few tracks. So once you go ahead, push start recording again.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like it cleared out some of them, but not all of them. Start recording. Okay.
It's a little bit of an iterative process. I usually do this 2 or 3 times. But as you can see, it only takes a few minutes. So it's a lot faster. I mean, we could spend hours at a complicated site doing this manually. And
right.
Now it's taken it down to just 4 or 5 minutes to do this. All right. Why don't you go ahead and click stop again?
Okay.
We'll see how we do now. And we'll see. Okay. Now all the clutter tracks are gone. That's simple.
Right.
And once you go to the 3D mode, and if you see any more that you consider 3D tracks, you just push start recording again.
Yeah, I think the one it's coming through now is I think what's left over is the drone, but I'll switch to the 3D.
Yeah. Now, so this is our 3D view, and the 3D view is a first person view. You can look from the sides, kind of zoom around in there if you can.
Oh yeah.
Adam.
Oh, okay. There's the drone up there.
Yep. So this is why we call them blobs, because they're not like square shapes or anything like that, or arcs even. They're elliptical kind of thing. So we call them filter blobs. But they're basically filter zones. They're geographic 3D areas in which we create these filter characteristics to take out the background clutter. This is really helpful when you're going into a busy site that's in a kind of urban, suburban, where you got roads and lots of traffic and things like that. And sometimes that's where you're deploying these systems because the CH3D, the compact holographic 3D radar, it sees everything. It has a 90 by 90 degree field of view, so you can track ground targets at the same time as you're tracking air targets. 50 targets, simultaneously. So it's really capable. And then that also means that, okay, well, if there's targets, vehicles, even people or whatever that you don't care about, this is a way to take that out and use that as a tool to filter out the non-interesting or non-concerning background motion of the scene and do it automatically. So that's been really nice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think when Marcus was developing this, he kind of set it up at HQ and he was recording. Basically, he was looking at cars coming by the headquarters, and he did. But we weren't really, we don't care about tracking those, or at least in the thing he was doing. And so he just created a blob, recorded it, saw the cars coming in and out, filtered those out, and then when we had a drone come in, we saw the drone, but we didn't see the cars because the cars were just we're just treating it as kind of background noise that we're not interested in.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. I mean, that's the power of it. Okay. So next let's go on to NetworkedIO. So Aaron, we're going to turn it on to you, over to you. And there's a lot of changes, a lot of good stuff that's been happening at NetworkedIO layer as well. And don't, if we're going too fast or anything, you know, put it in the chat, put it in the QA. If you've got a question, you know, don't hesitate to put something in there. We'll address it.
All right. I was going to start off with the new ADS-B. So we have a new input, so we can take air traffic and show them as tracks.
Yeah, so to just explain ADS-B a little bit for everyone, ADS-B is a protocol and a signaling method from these transmitters that go on aircraft, and it's a beacon that broadcasts their location as well as their tail number, so you know who they are and where they are in real time. So this is an internet service that you can subscribe to and get a license point to add in like any other device. But now we can have situational awareness for aircraft, not just drones and people and vehicles, but now aircraft as well. Go ahead.
Was there anything else you wanted to show on this, or?
Well, yeah, why don't you show some of the information that you get, like the unique ID, the make and model. Show them that.
So here, where'd it go? So it shows the make and then the model afterwards.
And you can also write above that right there, the unique ID is its hull number. So that's, that right there is like a license plate for your vehicle for the aircraft. Also, we've got a live track going on right now over on the park system. Can I switch over? Can I share?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. There we go. Because I wanted to show this while we had, you know, a live system here. This is a live system, which is now showing what we call SnapTrack. This is a patent pending feature that we just developed. It is coming in 6.2. If we zoom in here a little bit, you can see the track. So this is where the person is walking, and now we don't really even need to see. We really don't even need to have the video wall or, you know, the camera display in the side or looking at it, because you're seeing the real-time imagery coming from the cameras attached to a track. So in the past, every other system shows these icons. And when we don't have a camera, that's what we show. But now if there's multiple targets, you don't have to be like trying to look at different camera feeds. It's all right here on the map. So that's pretty significant when you're saying you need to maintain situational awareness on a complex site, and you've got, you know, all these different camera systems. Now all of that data is displayed right here, right inside the map. So it was, you know, significant enough that we filed a patent on it. It's a patent pending, and it really, I mean, when you're looking at multiple targets simultaneously, it really helps to give you that situational awareness. Let me show you like a video clip here of this working like with drones, and it doesn't matter what the target is, so we can be seeing the pilot. We don't actually have eyes on target on that pilot, but we had eyes on the drone. And so now, you know, instead of just seeing the icon like that aircraft that flew through there, instead of just seeing the icon, now you can see, okay, what is it? what is it carrying? You can see that, well, it's a small drone. Doesn't look like it's got a payload on it. And you can see all of it. That's where your operators can kind of maintain their focus and not have to go and try to find the video screen that has the relevant video. It's all there right on the map. Okay, I'll turn it back over to you. Any questions on that before we switch to the next one? If you do, just put it into the chat. But I'll stop sharing and go back to you.
Just go. So that was live view. So in history mode, so like this is the woman and dog we were tracking. By default, it'll select the best chip or the best image, so it's the highest percentage, but then you can still go through and view all the other ones.
Yeah, and I find this to be really helpful just to quickly evaluate if it's a track of interest. Having that chip, and this works when the video AI is enabled and you have video AI, because it is using video AI to find the target of interest within the video. So how it works is the radar tracks the position, the location. We also can filter it by using radar AI as well. We set up these rules that say, okay, if there's a track of this type of characteristics, go ahead, cue the camera on target, and then the video AI analyzes the video to see, okay, is there a target of interest within that frame? And then when it finds one, you can see there the little bounding box, targets it, and then we can provide the chip or the snapshot zoomed in for that target. And now very quickly I can see across that whole space of time, like looking at hours worth of data. Okay, is there something of interest in here? And having that chip, that snapshot in there attached to each one of the tracks makes it just so much. I find it's almost like I'm blind before. If these were all, if these were just icons, you get a whole lot less data, because now you can say, okay, yeah, there's a person there. Oh, that's a vehicle. What type of vehicle? What type of color? What were they doing? Where were they going? And you can see that all in that one screen. Turn it back to you, Eric.
Okay. So we have a new RTSP server. Okay, good. We have. So there's a preview where you can preview it. On this left side, it'll show all the active tracks. And on the right side, I guess the active cameras for the video feed for the active tracks. And on the right side is the list of tracks. And it's easy to change. So to resize that if you needed more. This and that's the snapshot size on the left side, but can't see it now.
So can I interject a little bit on why this is important for everybody? Is that our typical way to interface with a video management system is through this RTSP output. So our NetworkedIO, we're digitizing and creating a video stream, an RTSP video stream out of our user interface. That's what Aaron is showing. And then that is exported or sent over to the video management system, which displays this in the video management system. So when there's an event, not only can they see the video stream associated with the cameras, but now they can see this map data. So everything that I was showing you before, like the SnapTrack, all of that is functional within this RTSP stream. So this is a way for your existing systems to, in an essence, be upgraded to being able to see map georeference data inside of any of your video management systems.
So this new server is easier to configure. So if we make that one the home now. So we have a closer zoomed in view. I guess, so I was gonna, so in the next version, we have it so you can have multiple views, not just the one, but it's difficult to know which versions things are in, but because I only work on the code, I don't really know which version stuff is. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up on this, or?
So within so in NetworkedIO, there's I guess we've got some additional things. There's some additional little things like camera navigation, camera naming, few things like that that people have been asking for. Like you can pop out the kind of the, yeah. So that's another thing that people want in terms of usability, so they can see more than just the first character, like what we said before. And
or add them grouped.
Yeah, grouping the cameras, grouping the devices, that's helpful.
I guess.
Yeah. And there's those options right there that are kind of been updated under the camera in terms of enabling, disabling different aspects of the camera. So we also have, the different models that can be assigned for the, if it's used as a ground camera or an air, looking for airborne targets. Those are the different models. So once you go ahead and click on that, so you see, we've got yours isn't showing the pop-up, but there's different models. Yeah, it's not showing the pop-up there in your video, but there's different models that you can select from. And these are working pretty good. Yeah, there's the combined small, combined base. Combined means it has both air and ground targets simultaneously. If it's just air small, that says, primarily it's built, that model is to look for, drones versus, aircraft, drones and birds. Yeah, so I think that's it for Neo. If there's anything other specific, we can always come back to it. Why don't we switch over now then so the next layer up from that is our integrated management center, our enterprise health and performance monitoring system. So Miki, why don't you go ahead and take over?
Yep. Let's get this screen share. There we go. So yeah, this is our IMC homepage. You can see right here, we got several different sites. And you can see them on the map. Over here, they're mostly grouped, near headquarters. There's some label overlap, but if you want to disable labels, you can do that. I like to have them. Our big upgrades for this version are kind of similar to Neo's, where we don't have it on the map view there, but we have the chips here as well, so you can immediately see, if you have a bigger screen. My screen's kind of small, I have to squint, but ideally you can see, like here, you got a person, car, pretty easy to see. And we also have those airplane tracks coming through. Got something way up here, down here, which is nice. You can quickly get to alarm review, which Logan tells me is an important feature. Customers like this. So you just click on the track and you're like, oh, that's definitely hostile. You can change it, save that. And then now it shows hostile. And then you can also, we have alarms coming through. So if a NEO is configured to alarm on something, it'll pop up here in IMC and notifications, or you can click on the map. That's what the red person there is. That's telling you there's something going on.
Can I explain a little bit to people about alarms? What the difference between a kind of the track that's not alarmed and a track that is alarmed? That is determined by a set of rules that are configured in the networkedIO that says, okay, if a track is in a zone, a particular area that's defined on the networkedIO that meets a certain criteria, include schedule or entering in or the type or classification of the target, then we'll set an intent, which is what we kind of say is an alarm. So if it enters in, like in this case, it was entering into an area in this park area. We said, like, here we defined a zone that says, okay, if you enter into this area, then that's an alarm zone. And then we'll set it with the intent of either like unknown or hostile, depending on kind of like the level of sensitivity. You can see the ones that have the red around it, those are hostile. The ones that are yellow are unknown, so we're not quite the same level as hostile. And then we also we can classify it as a friendly or neutral, or all the ones that aren't getting like alarmed on are still stored. We still track them. We do all that stuff. It's just we don't alarm. So that's when they're unclassed or not, the intent is not sent. We still know what they are. We still know where they are. So we can always go back, if you need to do like a forensic review. All that data is stored in the IMC as these other tracks. But then we can see that one, that was hostile. Once you go in and click on that top one there with the red, with the truck there.
Just the one I classified as hostile.
Yeah, it got classified as hostile because the track went right through the middle of the field, and that was defined as our zone. Our hostile zone was in that track area. So as long as they stayed on the path, but when they started going into the field onto the grass, then it alarmed. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. So yeah, we decided not to put the chips over here on the map. We just felt like because you have so many sites, it would just like kind of clutter, but we figured it's enough to have it here. NEO's kind of you look at it immediately, you need to know. Then IMC, usually I feel like it's a little afterwards, like after the fact, so you don't need the live icon on the map. That's how we felt, but we can always adjust that in the future if that's something customers want. Okay, another thing with the unique ID thing and the drone list is we have this white list and black list. I forget if Aaron mentioned this. It's in NEO as well, I believe, where if you keep seeing the same drones or aircraft or whatever, you can kind of add them to these lists. Looks like, I don't know who Jim is, but we don't like his drone, so he's on the blacklist. And then you can search, filter for those here. Some of these say unknown because they haven't been given a label, but let's see, we could search for Jim's drone. I don't know if he's been around. Looks like he hasn't. But that way you can.
Week. I guess we could search back further, right?
We could if I change the date range, but I don't know. Do you know who Jim is? I don't know when he would have been flying his drone.
I don't know that one.
And the thing that's identifying him, that comes from RDID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. These with the unique identifier, that's a good point Adam brought up, is that when we use radar for tracking, we can say where the position of the radar is, quite accurately, and cue cameras on target, but then we don't have the unique identifier information. That's not there with the radar. But our other sensor, the remote drone ID or RDID, it does pick up the broadcast, just like the ADSB does for the aircraft. The remote ID broadcast has that same kind of unique identifier. So when we have a unique identifier, it's come from the remote ID sensor.
Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, now that I filtered, you can see that this is our headquarters. Somebody's been flying a bunch of drones around for testing. And then we have this profile page where you can see, where it's been spotted. If you happen to see it different areas, these are all pretty local, looks like. Blast detection, stuff like that. And then let's see what we have here. Once this loads, ideally that would be a little faster. Okay, you can see we've seen it this many times on these days, kind of where it's been. This looks like it's from sea level because we're up in the mountains. And then you can also see the track history here, which probably pretty closely matches this guy. And also, let me go back to.
And can I point out why this is significant is that a lot of people have asked us to say, how can I see whether or not I'm being targeted, or if there's a repeat? Because if you think about kind of suspicious behavior, it's if the same drone is popping up by your sites multiple times. Once in a while, hobbyists or something might be flying their drone where they shouldn't be for fun. But if you're starting to see like a drone that's spending quite a bit of time, hovering around your areas, multiple areas, then all of a sudden your threat level goes up. And this allows you to do that. You can see those drones, you can access their history, you can see where they've been, and you can do it over your whole system. So that's pretty significant. And that's why IMC is there, is because now you have to look at not just your site, that's NetworkedIO layer, but now you have to look at your system, across your whole system, because now you can see, and we can provide data across all the sites, and so you can start to see repeat behavior across more than one site.
Yep. Oh, and then if you see a drone, you're like, okay, I'm seeing this too much, you could quickly add it to the whitelist or blacklist probably. And same from here, it's you don't have to text because of space, but easy to add. And then with these aircraft, we added this search feature. If you want to know why a plane is always flying near your site, it just opens a Google search with the tail number, and you should be able to figure out what's going on.
Oh, look at that. Look at the AI overview on it.
Oh yeah, Mountain West. There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
You can pull it right out. Yeah,
yep.
that's kind of cool.
Okay, let's see.
Also, that's another thing. Now you pointed that out. After you're finished, we'll go back to NetworkedIO and how we can go to, and if Aaron, if you could pull this up like a drone on NetworkedIO, so we can show like going to the GPS location of the pilot and navigate to that one, because that's another really nice feature of having this type of unique identifier information, is that we know where the pilot is. And that's one thing it's legal, is to call the police if a drone is in an area where they shouldn't be and it could be endangering people, property. Then we can we can show the GPS coordinate, but also the address to where that pilot is. We'll come back to you in a second, Aaron, after we finish up here. But yeah, if you could cue that up so we can show how that works. All right, go ahead.
Oh wait, I jumped the gun a little bit. We added this email, or improved, I guess. Email, it might have been in 2.1, I can't remember. But yeah, you can do email reports now. You can do weekly, daily, bi-weekly, monthly. We could add it. We don't have a custom option right now, but we might add that in the future. We figured several different options should suit everyone. And then you can put some names down, what time you want it, what site should be included. And I pre-downloaded a report so you can look at what that looks like. So yeah, it just sends you a screenshot of the reports page, so you can kind of get a quick glance of, you know, what's going on. Some health information of your sites, like if there's downtime, you'll see it in red there. So our HQ security Neo has been offline for a bit, which means it just hasn't been reported to IMC. And that could also, it might be working still, but maybe they turned off, you know, sending data to IMC. So worth checking, doesn't automatically mean that it's not working, but yep. And then all the alarm tracks will be put in here. So you'll see where it was on the map. You'll get a screenshot or snapshot, and then the chip, and then some information about the track. And there won't always be a snapshot if the camera didn't get it. This one looks like
that was a drone.
Drone. It was too far away from any cameras, so didn't get that. It's like we got a dangerous animal lurking around. But yeah, so this is nice. So you don't always have to be, you know, eyes on IMC at all times. You can just schedule these reports and get information that way and look at it when you have time.
Yeah, this is a very common request that we've had is to have these automated reports be sent out, because one of the things, especially if you're trying to monitor, you know, or report to, you know, the FBI or local authorities, you know, one of the things that's coming up with the new counter drone laws is that in order for, you know, like to be classified as a no-fly zone, that you're going to have to report on, you know, what type of drone traffic is around your site. And this is one way to do that, is that we can set it up, you know, just to filter for drones, and then you can get a report, and then you can send that report off to, you know, to your FBI or other contact. And so it makes it a whole lot easier than trying to have to collate this data from, you know, first person. I mean, this is real data that, you know, has the, you know, the actual, you know, information to back it up that you can use as supporting information for one of your proposals.
Yep. One of the other things we've been working on is handling large amounts of data. So I don't know if there's any people here, but they've had IMC for a while, but it's been a little too sluggish. So we've been adding tools to kind of try to simulate the load they're getting. And I've been told that just loading this page on their IMC takes forever, and you guys just saw it loaded pretty quickly. And there's 80 sites. We ran this kind of week-long simulation where we generated a lot of alarms per day. And yeah, the charts get a little clogged, but you can kind of hover and see what's going on, and you can always go into a site and you have like a drill down view from there to see things better. But yeah, we were able to handle this. We were getting data constantly for a week straight, and our server handled it great. So I'm hoping that any customers with a lot of Neos the IMC will be able to handle the data a lot better now moving forward.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
I also wanted to kind of point out to everybody is that one of the key roles for IMC is to make sure that you have situational awareness of your system. And because of that, these reports are really powerful on a couple different ways. One, on the health side, you can find where your problem is in 2 clicks. So let's go into this, and you can say, okay, yeah, you see the red area. So at one of those red ones, go ahead and click on that. And then I can see there it is. So
I forgot which one I clicked on. Well,
that one right there,
that
the
one.
North Canton, that one. Okay, so that was one click. This is the second click. And now you can see radar number 3 is down. So in 2 clicks, we have 80 sites, all with I don't know how many radars per site. We got probably, you know, 3 or 4 radars and 3 or 4 cameras. So now we're looking at somewhere 300 or 400 different different devices that it's monitoring. So in 2 clicks, we found, okay, well, it's not the only source, but it's one of those with the problem. So very quickly you can find and address the source of problems in your system. And that happens both on the health side as well on the alarm side as well. So let's go over to back to the alarm view, and you can see, okay, well, let's go back up to the system, up to the top level. Okay, so my system report here, I can see, okay, where am I getting the most alarms? I can see, okay, well, I got the 10 popping up there. You just passed it, down a little bit further right there. Yep. That 10. So click into that one. And there's the tracks. You can also see, okay, if you go to that system at the report layer, if you can bring that up.
Yes. Which one was that? Beechwood.
Yeah. So you can go back and actually click on the other instead of clicking on the tracks. You can click on the alarms and then the alarm site.
Oh, right.
Right. Oh, yeah. There.
Different day, but yeah, same idea.
Okay. So there, and now you can see, okay, where am I getting those alarms from? And you can see alarms by radar. We got a spike there on radar number 2. And so very quickly, again, within 2 clicks, we can see, okay, what is the radars that are down, or the cameras that are down, but also we can see which of the radars are generating alarms. And when it comes to managing a big system, this just makes it gives you that situation awareness and the ability to very quickly pinpoint where there's issue and address those issues. And that's why we built IMCs, because we have these large customers who are trying to manage these very big systems, and they need something like this to be able to make sure everything is up and is going. Because if things aren't functioning properly, then you're not going to get the security information that you need.
Yep. Let's see. Anything else that you can think of for IMC?
No, I think that's good. If we could switch back over to Aaron and NetworkedIO, I want to highlight kind of that that information there. So we were saying we've got the unique ID, unique de-identifiers, the whitelist. Can you also show the kind of like the whitelist, blacklist options there?
These filters. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
So you can add them.
So one of the things that, when we're going out to a site, maybe it's a stadium or, even, electrical utilities, they have their own drones, right? And they don't want to alarm on those drones. So that's why we included the ability to create what we call a whitelist or a blacklist. And now when you're creating an alarm criteria, you can say, do not include, drones that were on the whitelist. So that when when your own drones are flying, you can still see it. The data is still there. You'll still track it, but you won't alarm. So that's a really nice feature at the NetworkedIO layer as well. Is we have that unique identifier. And we were able to use that, and that works for both ADSB as well as the drone remote ID information. Let's see, what else do we have? Was there anything else that we wanted to show on that?
So as I hover over this, it says if I control click, it'll select all of them. So then I can see that I can find the operator for that one.
Oh yeah, so let's go into the operator. That's the other thing I wanted to show, and then be able to show the GPS coordinates and the directions.
All right, so if we just click on, so that's the operator, and then
Okay, so if you click on the operator again, all right, now you see that get directions. Now you can click on that. And that's another thing, you can quickly navigate from IMC over into NetworkedIO. So if there's a live event and you want to see the real time, of course, Aaron's all the way over in I said, 2 states away, so it's giving his directions to that person from his house.
Yeah.
But it's wherever they, if it's you send this link, it'll do it relative to your position wherever you are in the world, and you can text that information to the to the police or security guard, and it's just a nice feature to have when you're trying to give instructions and say, okay, well, we got this some person that's flying a drone over on that field. You can just give them, here's the link, and it'll show them the directions right there, so they can just pop that into their Google Maps, and they're up and going. All right, I think that was pretty much covered the highlights there, and Jamie's reminding us that you can follow us on LinkedIn at any time. If you want to, Jamie, if you want to drop in that LinkedIn, our LinkedIn page here, and we can see we've got one of our people leaving the building here. So Jamie, did you put that in the chat? Looks like she did. Yeah, so
Yes.
connect with us if you haven't already done so. There's a lot of different ways. If you go to our website, you can see that there's a way to contact one of our sales engineers or one of our field engineers. Would love to hear from you, see if there's any security things, perimeter security systems we can help you with. And we'll be doing this again in another quarter. We do pretty much quarter releases for most of our software products that are, of course, built on our hardware products. And so if this has been good, share it with people, and we'll do it again in a quarter, in 3 months from now.